that moment, we see both of them. Leaving the pool, again Seong teases her, calling her short, which makes Ryu furious. Ignoring the teasing, they open the time capsule and find only 2 letters inside. Both start reading their letters. Ryu feels embarrassed about what she wrote, but Seong is shocked. His letter reveals that he had planned to confess his feelings for Ryu. Curious, Ryu asks to see Seong's letter, but Seong quickly runs off with it. Ryu chases him, but Seong manages to escape. Later, he comes home and reads the letter again. Then he tells himself that he had those feelings when he was young. He doesn't feel anything right now, and folds the letter and puts it away. Meanwhile, Ryu, still unsure about her own dream, even after reading her letter, heads home, deep in thought. The next day, Ryu tells Seong she's trying to figure out her dream by reading books, but Seong simply ignores her. Ryu stops by Seong's office, mainly to grab some free coffee. Myung arrives with exciting news. Gripe has contacted them about opening a new office in Seoul. Ryu becomes sad after hearing Grape's name. Another Hwawoon architecture firm has been selected alongside them for the project, and the company will choose the one with the better proposal. Then, the email they sent is shown, and Seong is asked to reply to the email, but Ryu mentions that the company's standards are extremely high, and strong communication skills are crucial. Myung suddenly recalls that Ryu had worked in a US company and asks if it's the same one. Myung then asks Ryu to help with the proposal. Ryu refuses, saying she's too busy. When Myung reminds Ryu that Seong is a close friend who needs her support, Ryu agrees to help them. Seong asks Ryu if working with Grape again would be difficult for her. He wonders, "Is it just because of me that you're helping?" Ryu replies simply, "Of course." Ryu offers to have dinner together, but Seong refuses, saying he's not hungry. She asks, "Is your work so interesting that it's worth skipping meals over?" Seong replies, "I could last 72 hours if needed." As Mo Yum grabs a drink from the shop cooler, Dan Ho reaches for the same one at the exact moment. He greets her with a smile, then casually asks if she lives nearby, mentioning that he recently moved to the area. Mo Yum, "How long have you been holding my drink?" Dan Ho insists that he grabbed it first, and the two begin bickering over whose drink it is. Right then, Seong and Ryu walk in. Dan Ho lets it go, and Mo-um takes the drink. That's when Mo-um learns that Dan Ho is a reporter. Mo-yum thanks Dan Ho for the drink, but Dan Ho teasingly says, "I didn't give it to you. You took it while I was greeting Sung." Ryu laughs and jokes. Dan Ho asks if the three of them are childhood friends. Sung explains that their mothers were friends, so the three of them have known each other since they were kids. When Sung asks Dan Ho where he's living now, Dan Ho hesitates for a moment before quickly making up an excuse and slipping away. Mo Yum wonders why he avoided answering about where he lives. Ryu then reminding her about the time capsule they recently dug up. She mentions that only 2 letters were inside. Mo Yum smiles and admits she had removed her letter that same night. Ryu, curious, asks if she read their letters. She says that Seong has already read her letter, but he won't let her read his. Mo Yum confirms that she had read both of their letters. She found Ryu's letter funny, but doesn't really remember Sung's. At that moment, Seong excuses himself, claiming he has an urgent call to attend. The next day, Ryu holds a video conference with the company to discuss the project. During the meeting, they finalize a date for their visit to Korea the following week. Myung is thrilled with this news, and both start preparing for the upcoming meeting. While packing up her laptop, Ryu overhears the company's representatives mentioning that the meeting is just a formality because the project has already been promised to another firm. This leaves Ryu feeling disheartened. Later, while Mo Yum is out for a walk, she notices a young girl looking for something. When Mo Yum offers to help, the girl explains that she's searching for a cross circle, but her father has told her not to talk to strangers. Mo Aum offers a piece of chocolate to a little girl, but the girl gets scared, thinking Mo Aum might kidnap her. She nearly calls the police. Mo Seum quickly explains that she's a paramedic, which helps calm the girl down. Later, Ryo invites Seong to dinner, but he declines, saying his schedule is packed with work. Ryu then confesses that she overheard the company has already chosen another firm, and their upcoming meeting is just a formality. This revelation sparks a heated argument with Seong, who refuses to tell Myung the truth. Frustrated with his stubbornness, Ryu storms off. When Ryu later brings food to Moyum's house, she's still upset. Moyum casually suggests inviting Seong over, but Ryu insists that she'll leave if Seong comes. The next day, both work hard on new ideas for the meeting. Myung is confident they will be chosen. However, Seong feels guilty for not telling Myung the truth. Meanwhile, at the shop, Moyum reaches for a candy at the same time as Dan-ho, and they start playfully arguing over it again. As the shop employee hands them the candy, they step outside together. Dan-ho casually offers Moyum a ride, but she politely declines. Before leaving for the meeting, Seong waters the plant that Ryu had given him. Myung asks if Ryu will attend the meeting, but Seong tells him she won't. Just then, when he sees Ryu waiting outside the office, he says, "I thought you weren't coming." Ryu replies, "I didn't want us to struggle just because of English." Soon, the company representatives arrive. Ryu freezes for a moment when she sees Chris. Chris lights up at the sight of her, praising her work in the US but expressing disappointment at her sudden decision to return to Korea. This encounter brings back painful memories for Ryu, reminding her of how Chris and others would take advantage of her and laugh at her behind her back. Overwhelmed, she makes a quick excuse and steps outside. Chris starts insulting Ryu, calling her easily controlled and making rude comments. Just then, Seong steps in, grabbing Chris by the collar and telling him to stop. Chris then turns to Myung, questioning why he would hire someone like Seong. Ryu tells Seong to let it go, but Chris threatens to report them to the company. Ryu firmly replies, "I quit my job, so don't involve the company." Chris laughs and tells her to please him, but Ryu has had enough. She punches him and warns him that if he tries anything against the company, she'll expose his scams and walking away. Seong follows Ryu, even when she tells him not to. When she gets tired, he brings her a pair of slippers and leads her to a special spot where people leave messages on locks, hoping it will cheer her up. Later, Myung calls Seong, excitedly sharing that they secured the contract for Grip's Seoul shopping mall because the manager loved their proposal. He also reveals that Chris was fired from the company. Hearing this news, Ro's face lights up, and she hugs Seong tightly, overcome with happiness. The hug brings back memories for Seong, recalling a time when Ryu had skipped her exams just to cheer him up. In gratitude, he had given her a small medal. In that moment, he realized his true feelings for her, but he didn't have the courage to tell her, afraid it might ruin their friendship. Instead, he promised himself to wait until they were older, hoping one day he could confess how he truly felt. Alright, that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with another exciting episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.